Everybody, GT here from GT's Barbecue. Sorry it's been a couple of weeks since I did a shoot. I've been double busy at work and Father's Day, and it seems like always something coming up. So today I'm going to do a reverse sear tri-tip. I picked up I guess it's about a 3-pound choice tri-tip from local butcher, and I'm going to season that thing up. It's actually a version of a recipe I saw on Killer Hogs, Malcolm Reed's site. So I'm going to give it a shot today, and as he would say, let's get to cooking. Okay, let's get this thing going. In Malcolm's honor, I am going to use all three of his products. I'm going to use the Killer Hogs hot barbecue rub. I'm going to use his steak rub and a little bit of his the AP rub. I've taken this tri-tip. I didn't trim it up a whole lot. I left a little bit of the fat cap on the back, kind of like I would, I guess, a brisket. Kind of helps protect the meat. I'm going to cook this on the Rectech at about, I think I'm going to go about 350, maybe 375 today. And then I'm going to reverse sear it. Before I get started, I am going to jacquard the meat here. Just kind of going to go along, and you can kind of see the blades come through, and be careful, they are sharp. I do have the safety removed. Kind of get a good puncture down in there. It helps kind of soften up the meat, helps it soak up the spices, makes it a little bit more tender. As I said, this is a choice piece of meat. It's pretty thick, about 3 pounds. Just about like so. And we'll get started. I'm going to start with a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic. The AP rub. You don't want too much, but it's a pretty big piece of meat, so it can take it. You always want to make sure you get the edges. Sorry about my hand, it's in the shot. I'm going to go over, get a little bit on the back. It's most of that going to render off, but it's good to have a little seasoning on the back as well. That spice will get in the fat as it renders and drip down on the Chingadera Huzengatsi. Then I'm going to follow it up with a little bit of the hot rub. Again, you don't want to go too crazy, but this stuff really gives it I think a little bit of heat goes good with beef. This stuff isn't super hot, but has a beautiful color, and it's got some other great spices in there too. So kind of a liberal coat there of that. A little bit more there. The ends, and I like to use these disposable pans. It really helps save the mess. I will get a little bit on the back here. Once again, as that fat renders and drips down, it'll make a nice smoke. Okay, and then on top, I'm just going to use a little bit of the Killer Hog steak seasoning. It's got some nice larger chunks of pepper, some other things in there. I believe there's some celery seed in there. This stuff is usually what I use on my brisket. So I'm kind of cooking this a lot like a brisket, except for it's nothing like a brisket. And I'm not going to cook it anything like a brisket. So other than that, I'm going to cook it just like a brisket. I've been off a little bit here. Last weekend I had a kitten juggling contest I was in, and I got scratched out right at the beginning though, so that didn't work out so well. So I'm going to let this sweat out here for about 10 or 15 minutes while the grill gets up to temp. We'll get a probe in it, and we'll see you outside. Okay, as you can see, I've got my set point on the Rectech set at 250. The actual's 250. Probe is getting ready to be put in the meat. It's about 85 degrees, which is what the temp is out here, so everything's looking good there. Get this bad boy on. I got a couple taters on there. I've got my sear kit in here kind of warming up with everything else. Put this in like so. Grab my probe. Just going to get this thing in kind of here in there's kind of a fat vein here. This is about the thickest part. I don't want to go all the way in, but about halfway through like so. Once it gets to about 110 degrees, I'm going to pull it off, wrap it, crank this thing up to high, and then I'll sear it off on the sear kit. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, so this tri-tip just hit 110 degrees. I'm going to pull it off here for a minute, get it wrapped up. Let it rest for a bit. I'm going to get the Tec fired up now to high, and we'll be out here in a few minutes and get it on the sear kit. Okay, so this thing's rested here for about 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and spray a little butter on it. I like to use the, I can't believe it's not butter. It has a little higher burning point. Get this thing opened up. Woo! Get it on the sear kit. I'm going to let that go for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to give it a turn. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes. Go ahead and turn it this way once. 2 more minutes. Go ahead and rotate this guy about 90 degrees. A couple more minutes. One final turn. Getting some nice marks on there. I'm going to be looking for an internal temp of about 125 degrees, so we're about right where we want to be. 130 is going to be about medium. So I'll let this sit for 2 more minutes. Okay, we've got this inside. It's rested for about 15 minutes. We're temping about 136 degrees. That's going to be a little more medium to medium well. Let's go ahead and cut into this thing and see what we have. Just cut it right down the middle to start. Open that up. Oh yeah. I'd say that's a perfect medium. Gonna get a couple of slices here. Try to get out of the way of the camera. Oh, nice, juicy. Feels tender. I didn't get quite the sear marks I wanted on the outside. We got it up to temp a little quicker than I had anticipated, but still looks like it came out pretty well. Get a little piece of this over here. Give it a little taste-a-roo. Oh man, that is definitely juicy and tender. Melt in your mouth. I know everyone always raves about their cooks, but buddy, I'm telling you, this is a keeper. This thing came out beautiful, tender, juicy. I thought it was going to be overcooked, but I'd say that's about a perfect medium. So we're going to go ahead and plate this up here in a second, and I'll be right back. Okay, we got this tri-tip plated up. We're going to feast on it now. It looks delicious. I can't wait to dig in. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It's easy to do. You can do it too. We'll see you next time.